A very good afternoon to you. This is KTN Weekend at 1. My name is Najma Ismail. Now, as the beatification ceremony of Blessed Sister Irene Stephanie comes to a close in Nyeri today, court leader Raila Odinga has called for tolerance among Kenyans as they emulate the life of the saint-to-be. Speaking at NPC Valley Road, where he attended a church service, Raila urged Kenyans to live in harmony and be proud of their country regardless of the challenges being faced. The former Prime Minister said insecurity is one of the biggest problems facing the country today, but added that it is not unique to just Kenya, insisting that it can be solved using dialogue.
I hope that our country can draw a lesson from the life of Sister Irene Stephanie. To be compassionate, to look at your fellow human being just as another human being like yourself, irrespective of his race, gender, or tribe. That we are all one, and you need to be proud to be a Kenyan. And it should be recognized as a Kenyan, that no Kenyan is more equal than the other Kenyans. This is what is most important for us as a people. So we actually live in a very good country, and we need to be proud of our country. It's a big. The problems that we have in our country are solvable. We can solve them. We can solve them.
Narok Governor Samuel Tunai maintains his confidence over his performance just a few days after Senator Stephen Olen Tutu launched the collection of signatures to petition the president over his removal from office. Now, Tunai says he's not intimidated by his opponents. Tunai was speaking in Narok town, where he launched 15 milk coolers. His deputy Evelyn Arwasa called on the politicians to initiate dialogue with the governor rather than engage in empty politics.
Signatures ambayo wanasema wacha waendelee, tutakutana na timu yetu, we can decide to collect signatures in 2 weeks yao, tuanzie senator, tuanzie mbunge hiyo yote, alafu wao watangulie waende nyumbani kabla sisi.
Legislators from the Western Parliamentary Caucus now say they will not support aspiring candidates for elective positions who undermine other leaders from the region. The MPs asked presidential hopefuls from the region to strive to consolidate votes from the electorate. They were speaking at a funeral at Bumini in Mumias East constituency.
The House has about 4:30 a.m. in the morning. Being in a meeting with 2 other people.
Accomplished whatever it is that I told her.
Hakuna haja viongozi wa Western kuwa wa kwanza kusimama kwenye jukwaa na kupiga vita wenzao na kuwatusi. That is childish leadership. Hatu we na cheo gani na wanajijua wenyewe. Simama useme wewe una sera gani, unataka kutupeleka wapi, na sisi tukusikize, tukisikizana tutakufuata.
Mketi chini, tukuje tukae pamoja vile tumekaa kama wabunge, mtupatie mtu mmoja kwenu ambaye ataenda kunegotiate na the winning team. Mwache kutuletea malumbano shida zenu huko.
Kama kuna ndugu yetu anakuja, awe mmoja, awe wawili, wanataka sisi tuwaunge mkono ili tuwe kwa opposition, sisi tumekataa.
Moving away from politics now, last respects for the departed are expressed in so many ways, mostly following religion of traditional practices. One such ceremony held recently in Luanda village in Vihiga County was one to remember. The deceased had to be taken round the whole town amid song and dance about 20 kilometers. And as KTN's Lofty Matambo reports, it was more of a wedding than a burial ceremony.
If you think it's a convoy of a certain politician, you are mistaken. This is a special convoy taking a deceased for a burial. Dance, songs and jubilation marking this auspicious occasion. This is according to the doctrine of Mary Akatsa's denomination, Jerusalem Church, which was founded way back in 1986 in Nairobi, Kawangware.
Ilikuwa ule mtoto nimtembeze polepole, step by step, maana yake hata rudi Rwanda tena. hata rudi kutembea kule alitembeanga tena. Sasa alikuwa anatembea mara ya mwisho akisema bye bye, hakuna nimharakishe.
The convoy covered about 20 kilometers in 2 days. Itumbi residents in Luanda, Vihiga, turning this morning ritual into a celebration. Itumbi means dancing in Luya language, and a Sukut dance must be present. By the end of day 1, the coffin is escorted all the way home with the dance and songs. This particular morning was accompanied by rainfall that left all other vehicles grounded except Mary's car. Her followers were obliged to push it right and left to the podium. According to their teachings and the respect she commands amongst her followers, Mary is not supposed to step on the muddy earth. Thousands of Luanda residents gathered to witness every bit of this burial of its kind. Mary taking charge of the event. Due to her domineering actions, other religious leaders had to leave. Mary orders her followers to sit down on the mud, and they do so without blinking. It seems the turn of her head is powerful enough to stop the music abruptly. Mary has her own special security team which guards her round the clock.
Mimi manamba nilitumwa kuingiza watu wa Mungu kwa gari. Na gari naingiza mlevi, nabeba wasimu, nabeba kila mtu.
The two left many dumbfounded. She had 2 separate burials to oversee. Here, the widow was dressed in a bridal gown, just like in a wedding, instead of the usual black mourning attire.
640 Luanda.
Though she wears a sad face, she has no choice but to bow to the doctrines of Mary's church. She fears no man. These innocent men receive a number of slaps from Mary for breaching her protocol.
Ningekuwa naomba sadaka, hata watu wa sadaka wangekuwa wamenitoroka. Watu nikunde nitachuna saa yote. Haya nikisema apande radio, mbeko kwa radio, radio tapasuka, hakuna mchanga kwa radio.
Mary orders the men to align the coffin properly before covering the grave.
Naomba Jumapili peke yake, Jumatatu niko kwa samba. Nisinde nikiomba maombe tamea kwangu kama kundi, alafu Yesu anidharau na Yesu atukanu.
According to her, everyone who participated in this is more than satisfied. Indeed, it's a world of mystery. Lofty Matambo, KTN.
Well, we now go to Nyeri, where the beatification event has been going on, and Sharon Momanyi, who has been following the event, will be telling us the significance of today's ceremony, given that yesterday was its climax. Good afternoon, Sharon.
Yes, Najma, we are coming to you live from the St. Mary's Secondary School grounds here in Nyeri, where a special Thanksgiving Mass is taking place. This is after the beatification of Sister Irene Stephanie that took place yesterday. And if you can see around me, hundreds have come to take part in this Mass, just showing the kind of appreciation and honor that they give to the sister who is now called Blessed Sister Irene. And earlier on in the morning, there was a grand procession starting from the Mathare Mission Chapel, where the remains of Sister Irene have been preserved from 1995, where they had been excavated when the process of beatification began. And so that procession drew in hundreds of both army officials who were carrying the relics and faithful as well as witnesses. A procession that stretched a kilometer, 7 kilometers from that place to this grounds, and the relics were brought here for this Thanksgiving Mass, after which they will be taken to the Our Lady of Consolata Cathedral here in Nyeri, where they will be preserved. They will be put in a new tomb, and this will be a reference point in future as a shrine for the sister who is now called Blessed. So we will be bringing you what happens. That will be the very last step of this ceremony that has taken 3 days, starting from Friday. And actually, also important to note is that now, from every year, the 31st of October will be called the feast day for Sister Irene. This is the day that she died, and this is the day that now her life will be celebrated celebrated in the Catholic calendar. So it has been a ceremony that has been participated by hundreds of faithful and witnesses, just going to show exactly how much of an influence that she is, even 85 years after her death. And now she stands as one of the people in the Catholic Church who are looked up to as the blessed. And now I'll hand you back to Najma Ismail.
Well, thank you very much. Sharon Momanyi has been following that historic event and will be giving us the details of today's significance in our subsequent bulletins. Time now for a short break, but we'll be back with more news. Welcome back to the weekend at 1. Now we look at sports, where the Kenyan national 15-a-side rugby team is looking to go up the world rankings with victories over Portugal and Spain in upcoming friendly matches. Kenya, who lost the African Cup title to Namibia last year, is also looking forward to qualifying for the Africa Cup champions as they face Zimbabwe on June 10th. Robinson Okenye reports from the team's training camp in Ruaraka.
It is very easy to draw comparisons between the national 15s and 7s rugby teams, though their competitions vary in more ways than one. But one will be forgiven for opining that the 15s team has been in the shadows of their 7s counterparts for a while now. The 15-a-side team is ready to step and be counted on its own as it seeks to qualify for the African Cup Championships that will be held later in the year. Ranked 32nd in the world, Kenya last won the Africa Cup in 2013 before losing it to Namibia last year. The team is now focused on getting back to the helm of African rugby, but first is their friendly encounter with Portugal this weekend, a match which they are determined to win despite the underdog tag.
You cannot improve as a side if you want to play weaker teams. You've got to now, if you are to play with the big boys, then definitely you've got to also knock on the big stage.
You can't let a visitor come to your house and then dictate what they want to eat, what they want to do in your house, and then leave. So for me, I believe we're giving them a run for their money.
The injection of fresh blood into the team is in one way futuristic, but immediate results are desirable heading into the qualifiers.
Why we are working so hard, we need to give Kenyans something to smile about. We want to win the Africa Cup.
The game is not going to be easy. That's why we put a lot of time into training and hard work into training. So we expect good results after the game.
Kenya take on Portugal on Saturday before heading out to Harare for the African qualifiers on the 13th of June and 28th of June against Tunisia. Before Kenya plays Portugal in an international friendly here at Nairobi, these men are putting in more work to ensure the Kenya 15 side bags more glory. Robinson Okenye, KTN Sports.
Well, that's all we have for you today on the weekend at 1. My name is Najma Ismail.